Alright, welcome everyone. So today I'm going to be doing something a little bit different. I'm going to be joining a sealed league, after for the competitive sealed league, because the friendly one has this interesting thing where you add boosters halfway through and so forth. And I'm going to get in a little practice, as I'm going to probably attempt a preliminary PTQ here sometime before Hour of Devastation rotates out. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to join the league here, and you all are going to get to see in real time the pool that I open, and I'm going to walk you through my deck building process here. So here we go. Come on, Nicol Bolas and all the Oasis Ritualists. Alright, well, we got a Scorpion God, so that is fantastic. Apparently he loves me. I don't know if you saw my last draft, but some good stuff there. And Evolving Wilds, fantastic. Oh, look at all these deserts. Wow, if we aren't playing black and red, I don't know what. Okay, Monoliths, fantastic. A Manolith and some Traveler's Amulet. So probably, I'm guessing green, black, red, and maybe even 5 color. We'll just see what we can do. So let's sort by rarity, see what other bombs we might have picked up. Alright, so we've got a Sweeper. We've got Irrigated Farmland, nice. Commit to Memory, sure. Catcher's Last Mercy, and then Ramanop Excavator, which, by the way, is great with Evolving Wilds and any of the deserts that sack for an effect, which I'm not sure we have any of those. So, oh, here we go. Yeah, great. So, let's see what we want to do here. Angel of the Godfire, anything here? It's really calling to us. Sifterworm is great, and exactly the kind of thing. Struggle's fantastic. Sifterworm, exactly the kind of thing you want to be doing in ramp, or in seal. Much slower than draft, and so we're going to definitely try to push for some 4-color stuff if we can. The first thing I want to do is see if we have a black-red deck. Almost certainly we're going to want to go green. 4 to 5 color greedy rampness, but let's sort by color and just see here if we've got kind of put all this stuff and all this stuff and this guy in, what that looks like. So sort by converted mana cost. So we have a deck, right? We have all these deserts as well. Some Manoliths or other stuff we could put in as well. So let's see here. This is sideboard. We don't really want that. Fine, not great. Fine. This is more. I mean, this is okay. Lurching Rot Beasts are pretty bad. This card's actually, I guess, okay to go find your bombs, especially with this guy here. By force, we don't want that either. So, let's see here. Lurching Rot Beasts. So Pitiless Azir looks okay. We've got Cycle. This is a discard effect. This cycles. So Pitiless Azir could do some work. I mean, Bone Slasher may be a bit of a liability if we go zombies and zombies. Is zombie now? I guess it's okay. So I mean, I feel like we're a little light on playables here. To do sort of just a kind of mid-range red-black beatdown. Like these 2 cards I think are also fine. We could run them. But even so, even if we throw on like a Manolith, just get to our 5 sooner. Oh, we want to run Struggle, obviously. Forgot about that. So there's 23 playables right there. Plus all these deserts. And Evolving Wilds. So if we do this, this gives us, let's see here, let's sort by color. So we've got a lot more black sources, lots of double-colored sources. So we may even want to put in like a Traveler's Amulet for one of these, especially since we have no 1-drops. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, sorry. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. sort of 8 red sources, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So we put the swamp in, or sorry, no, we want a mountain, another mountain. That gives us 9 and 11, which isn't bad. And it lets us run the Scorpion God with the best chance of sort of hitting on time. We're doing some stuff at the beginning. We're running a lot of our best cards already. We're leaving quite a few in the board, obviously, but I think these are pretty mediocre. Not sure how good Bantu's Last Reckoning is. Seems fine once you have the Scorpion God out. It just goes back to your hand. That's pretty sweet. Plenty of deserts to turn on Wretched Camel and Gilded Ceradon. I think that's it. And, you know, some top end. So this is a deck. I'm going to save this as black, red. Black, red, Scorpion God. I guess we'll call it the black, red, mid-range. Black, red, mid-range. Rakdos mid-range, I guess, for those of you who remember what should we call it. So we're going to save that and then make a new deck. I'll just call this new deck for now. So that's, I think there's a viable black-red deck if we want to do that. But I think what we're going to find is that what we really want is just a beefy red-green deck. So let's see here. Green cards we're definitely going to want. This. I think I'm going to want this. This. Maybe this. Red cards I'm definitely going to want are Puncturing Blow, Open Fire, Scorpion God, obviously. And then this guy. Probably enough Crop and Tangler. You got to have something to do on 2, even though it's not what you really want to be doing, but this guy's probably good enough. He makes the cut. 2 Top Crop Elites? I mean, Jesus. Maybe there's a red-white deck splashing black that's just, like, super aggressive here. Okay. I think there's an argument to be made potentially for Unquenchable Thirsts, obviously. We're going to run. I think there's an argument for Supreme Will. Counters are probably one of the best things you can do. And this one, since it doesn't always have to be a counter, seems fantastic. Hieroglyphic Illumination, another thing you want to be doing in these decks. Strategic Planning is something to do on 2. Essence Scatter, another great card. So it looks like these are our main colors. We have some good white here if we are just looking to beat down. So we've got 1. I guess we don't really have... Top Crop Elite are, you know, awesome. I'm not sure that we just leave them in the board or not. I think this deck would want Manolith. I would love to run Razaketh's Right. I don't know if we can or not. I think we can cycle it fairly easily off. Manolith, Oasis Ritualists, also Beneath the Sands, and then we're going to run all 3 of these Deserts of the Glorified probably. And that might be enough to get it, because, I mean, we want to go find the Scorpion God. I mean, that's That's the plan, right? And we're going to need enough black sources to make him actually activate more than once. So the question is what else we want, and if we want to do any white stuff. Sandblast seems pretty good if your plan is to kind of get towards the top. Bontu's Last Reckoning, I think, is a card that we're going to want. So the problem I see with this build right here is that we have built our deck and we have 7 creatures. And I just don't think that that's really realistic. You know, maybe it is. Maybe it's fine to be doing sort of nonsense down here and just sort of ramping into this crazy big stuff and hoping that that gets it done. But, you know, if we don't draw a creature and we just have kind of like, you know, ambuscade, ramp, nonsense, that looks kind of bad. So, let's see here. Yeah. So, 7 creatures. What are those creatures? Sort of a throwaway 2-drop, the Excavator to do some shenanigans, the Oasis Ritual is key, Bitterbow's great. These 2 are sort of our end game, and then the Scorpion God to do. But if we're not applying any pressure on our opponent whatsoever, I'm not sure if this is really... You know, this plays all our best stuff, but I'm not sure that that's enough to really get there. Again, the question here I think is going to end up being, you know, are we comfortable playing 7 creatures? And I'm not sure what the answer is on that. Our lands here end up being this, probably this, all the deserts, all 3 deserts for black sources, and then probably we play a couple Traveler's Amulets. We just play those in place of lands. What's it want us to do? It wants 1 more. I guess we do want a swamp so we can get it with the desert. We want 1 probably that we can get with that. And then, oh, 3 islands is what it wants, huh? And only 2 of these and 1 of these. I'm guessing we want more like this. Use this. Let's see what happens here. So that gives us 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 red sources. 1, 2, 3. So let's see, here's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So there's 6 sources of kind of anything. So for islands, we've got 9 total sources. For plains, we've got 8 total sources. For swamps, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 10 total sources. I mean, this looks pretty good. I mean, our mana looks great here. Playing the 2 Traveler's Amulets and the 15 lands. The only problem with that is probably can't activate. Well, I guess we can play this and then, turn 1 and then activate and as our turn 2 play. I'm going to save this, right? I'm going to call it Wooburg Ramp, 5-color ramp. I don't know. I'm concerned about the creature count for sure. Yeah, I mean, there's some things we could take out, strategic planning, hieroglyphic illumination. I don't think are particularly amazing. And we could bring in a couple more creatures, maybe a giant spider or something to kind of keep us alive, or an Initiate's Companion as another 2-drop. By the way, I think I like the Initiate's Companion better than the Prowler, just based on what LSV was saying in the sealed sealed thing. So, I mean, this gives us 9 creatures. That's still super low. I don't know what else we have that's kind of like maybe Essence Scatter, Supreme Will, but again, I think these are pretty good for what we're doing. And I think Bantu's Last Reckoning is still pretty good, especially if, you know, we kill off everything at, you know, around this point and then start casting 1, 2, 3, 4 great cards. We still have the right to go find the Serpent. This gives us, let's see here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 removal spells, 6, 7 removal spells, and then just huge monsters. Again, strategic planning, I don't think, you know, it's just kind of a dirtily thing, whereas it'd be nicer just to have something that attacks and blocks. Like I said, maybe that's Feral Prowler, but from what I'm hearing from LSV, it's not the case. Just having these 2 drops is fine. I mean, I can also see sort of cutting the Neff Crop and going Feral Prowler. I guess they get stranded, but I mean, you know, I could see doing something like that. It does make us pretty weak to flyers, but we have all this removal. This gives us 3 reasonable kind of 2 drops to stabilize us, and then we've got so much removal in this particular deck. So this gives us 9 creatures. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's a pretty late one, but it is 6, 7, 8 removal spells. Plus, you know, Bantu's Last Reckoning, 3 counters, 2 ramp, slash, you know, and then the Traveler's Ambush kind of, and then this guy, which really just goes and gets the Scorpion God or cycles if we're in a tougher spot there. You know, half of our land cycle, basically, farmland, all these deserts, all cycle. You know, you can play 1 desert to cycle the rest off of that. So I kind of like this. I'm not sure about the Prowlers. The Entangler, we're just not going to be aggressive at all. I just don't think it's worth running there. Blur Blades, I'd rather bring into the board. And I guess Ruin Rat's another one we could consider. We do have... Actually, Ruin Rat seems pretty good. Maybe over one of these cards. Or potentially the Camel, or potentially the Amit. We don't have a lot of places to put this counter, so it's probably just ends up being a 3/2 lifelink, which is not particularly exciting for 3 mana. The Camel's okay, but I think I'd rather have the Death Touch Rat. But, you know, it's also possible that we take LSV's advice and do this. Again, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4 plus 6 is effectively 10 black sources. So even though these are pretty early, we do actually have a fair amount of ways to get black. You know, so this is another way to do it over the Feral Prowlers. I do like the Wretched Camel, makes them discard almost certainly with our 5 deserts, sorry. And with all these deserts in the Oasis, I do want to have some amount of creatures, you know, because even a Wretched Camel getting in there as a 5/4 for a turn seems fine. Yeah, so, okay. We're going to come back to this. I want to take a look at another deck, and that is going to be red-white. We'll call it aggro, but I mean, any deck is pretty rough to call it aggro. But here's what I want to do. I want to play red, I want to play white, and I want to splash the Scorpion God. So let's see how that looks. So let's just pretty much put in all this stuff. Yeah, I want that. I want Jurors Resolve. I want Vizier of Remedies, Dauntless Aven, Dauntless Aven. We want Sandblast. Probably want these camels. Probably the Unwavering Initiate. Definitely the Tocrop Elites. And then you want the Scorpion God. Let's possibly want the God Pharaoh. And then over here, probably we want like Oketra's Monument, and then probably Ronus's Monument, maybe. Oh, and then I always forget about this guy. Okay, so let's see what this looks like. Essentially, we're losing the sweeper and then a few things, but I think we're picking up for it. We've got 3/2 lifelinkers pretty much every time here. This card, by the way, where is it? The Irrigated Farmland. I think we probably just run because it cycles and it provides white. But so we probably run all 3 deserts to splash the Scorpion God. I don't think there's anything else in here we want to splash. Maybe the Amit, maybe. So we'll just put it in there. But let's see here. If we end up doing this, whoops, get out of here. So we go all 3 of these, this. Then I think 1 swamp to go get with these Traveler's Amulets, and then probably both. Whoops. What did I just put in? Grave Abomination. Probably both these amulets, and then just add basics here, which will be no more swamps, but a bit more white. So probably we're looking at that. Oh, okay. It's 25, only 14 land, so I guess another mountain. So 1, 2, 3. So for white, it's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 is 8. For red, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 is 8. And for black, 1, 2, 3, 4 is 7. So that's a pretty sweet mana base for not having green. I don't know how well I like this curve. It's pretty stacked up here. So what do we have going that's really cool? We've got Nephcrop Entangler, Tocrop Elite times 2, plus 2 Dauntless Avens. So plus 2 Dauntless Avens, and Jurors Resolve to do some untapping shenanigans, which is pretty sweet. We've got Baleful Omrit, plus Vizier of Remedies is nice. That means we don't have to worry about the -1/-1 counter. This is not the -1/-1, so that's a little mini thing here. That's for our opponent. We got these camels that are going to be turned on with desert pretty much all the time. And then for removal, we've got 1, 2, 3, sort of 4, 5. So not bad on removal. And then we've got these to sort of go wide or punch through. Oketra's Monument, fantastic with the Tocrop Elite, obviously. And then some stuff stacked up here at the top. So let's again sort by converted mana cost. This cycles, Angel of the God Pharaoh cycles too. Yeah, so both of our top threats cycle. Ceradon will be on to Scorpion God's a pretty easy splash, I think, off of all this stuff with 7 black sources. So this is not an aggro deck, for sure, but it might have more punch. We're going to call it red-white mid-range. It might have more punch than the red-black version. Let's just kind of compare here. So We're not losing anything from red. There's a bit more mana consistency, right? We've got that. We've got a lot more 2-drops. We get to play the Sweeper. We have to play a Manolith, which we're not super excited about in this deck, I don't think. I mean, at 3 ramps you into any of your 5s. That's pretty nice. Whoops, this is not a 5. Ramps you into any of these 5s, which is nice. The Rot Beasts, I think, are pretty bad, but they do cycle, and we have Pitiless Vizier, which is a nice little combo. So, I don't know here. We go back to 5-color ramp, which lets us play these 2 really big game enders, along with the sharpshooters, and it also lets us play blue, essentially, for the 2 Unquenchable Thirst, 2 Supreme Wills, which I think are going to be very good in this matchup. Essence Scatter, too. Not matchup, in this format of Sealed. I think these are our 3 decks. I don't think we want to play, like, say, white, blue, or anything like that. Let's see here, we got a Reed Stalker. I mean, we got 2 Godfather's Faithfuls, so we could try to do the sort of white-blue skies thing. But I think leaving Scorpion God in the board is just a huge mistake. So I like that for this we've got a lot of shots at hitting 5 or 7 or 4 to gain some life there. The other nice thing here is we just have a lot of what am I trying to say? We have a lot of different decks. So that's nice in the sense that we can board in and out of entirely different decks when we're doing this. We've got some other big kind of monsters here in the terms of these 2 specifically that we could put in here if we want a higher creature count. I'm not sure. I think Granitic Titan probably better than Manicore Eternal because it's got the Menace on it. So, maybe it's possible we just kind of take out Initiate's Companion and then run just a couple 2s that are good in the late game. And then we have Unquenchable Thirsts and Essence Scatter, or fine 2-drops, essentially. Essence Scatter, their 2-drop is a fine play. The problem is if they stick a threat early and we can't deal with it. But, I mean, we can deal with it. We've got 7 removal spells. So I kind of like this just going crazy on the top. I especially like this inclusion because of the cycling. This also cycles. For that reason, it's possible we just include this guy at 6. So our ways to get that are... Oasis Ritualist just does it, but then other than that, we've got, how many white sources here? We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We have 8 white sources, right? And this is also a 6-mana spell, so probably we get them by then. And maybe we lose one of the counter spells. Though again, I really like this spell to dig for the Scorpion God if they don't cast anything on their turn. That cycles 2. I think Reckoning is still good, even with 10 creatures. So, but we gotta lose something here. Okay, maybe it is just a Supreme Will, or maybe it's Essence Scatter. I mean, it is a nice 2, but Supreme Will does effectively the same thing and also counters big, enchantments and stuff like that. So let's see here. If we do this, we have a couple extra sort of quote-unquote 2-drops here, right? These could all be cycled on 2. This can get cycled. that's it. This is a 2 mana play also. Oh no, sorry, this is a 3 mana play. 3 mana play. So maybe it's closer to that. I like leaving these in because they are the counter spells, as opposed to like strategic planning, which only does the one thing. These can late in the game counter a big threat. Early in the game, you just use them to dig for this guy, or any number of other answers that we need. Ambuscade works great with really big monsters like this. This might be too greedy, though. I don't know. Maybe we just want more, like I said, like an Initiate's Companion or a Feral Prowler or something like that at the 2-drop slot. But we do have 4 good 2-mana plays, including Unquenchable Thirst. And then once we get to 3 mana, Ambuscade's pretty much a late play. It's like up here. But we do have Open Fire and Sandblast and Struggle to deal with stuff on turn 3, and then Puncturing Blow, and then we got Ambuscade later, and Vontu's Last Reckoning also is a nice way to sort of mop up any craziness they're doing. Also, it only costs 3, so it's fine to fire it off on turn 3 if they've already got, maybe we're on the draw or whatever, and they've got a couple 2-drops out. Yeah, fire this off, kill all their stuff. Our lands don't untap, but we're probably okay with that. So anyway, I need to know, I guess, if this is too greedy and if this is too greedy. So I think what I'm going to do, by the way, is to post this, and I'm not going to play any of the matches until you all have weighed in. So that's kind of my plan here, is to let you all weigh in. So again, we've got black-red mid-range, which I think that the main pull here is the consistency of colors, right? It's only a 2-colored deck. It does have a very nice curve. It just kind of goes right up the line here. We get to play basically mostly good spells. We get to play the Scorpion God in color, and we still have a Razaketh's right to go find him. We've got the red-white mid-range, which has a lot of the same benefits as the black-red mid-range. It is splashing for Scorpion God, and then also I think for Baleful Almret, just because it's a fairly easy splash to do that, and we can get lucky with 0 remedies or whatever. But yeah, I think it's got more punch in terms of the Dauntless Avens, Talkrop Elites. Primarily these 4 cards right here, I think, are really good. These 2 together are fantastic. Pump your whole team, and this is actually running the full 15 creatures. So being able to smash in with all these guys at +1/+1 is pretty fantastic. And then 5-color ramp, which it's 5-color. And like I said, I don't know if it's too greedy to try to splash the flyer here, or just to do the Titan. I mean, or if we just take both these guys out and put in some Prowlers or the Initiate's Companion to get more going at 2. But my understanding is people are not doing a lot at 2 in this game, and we do have a few things to do. And then a sort of an escape clause, a way to go get the Scorpion God, and lots of ramp here, and here, and then of course Ramunap Excavator, which by the way I haven't really talked about a lot, but you can play lands from your graveyard, is really fantastic when you cycle your land, get a card, and then play it. As you've seen, if you've watched some of my other matches, it's unbelievable with Evolving Wilds. You just get a land every turn, granted it's tapped. And then with HOU Oasis, basically what it means is each of your creatures, or one of your creatures, gets +3/+3 every turn, because you just sack a desert to it, then play the desert again off of Ramunap Excavator. So, yeah, the benefit here, we get to play everything. The question is if the mana base can support it, and honestly, I think that it can. Again, even our double white spell here, and we're only a little bit white. We only have 1 plains. We still have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 white sources, right? Which is, fine for playing. You might very easily play 9/8 in just like a, white-blue skies deck or something like that. So, so I think we're good there, even for the greediness. And again, I'm okay playing these 2 cards in particular because they have menace. Or, sorry, not menace, because they have cycling. Sandworm does too, by the way. So our only real top-end card, again, this is over here. Our only real top-end card that doesn't have cycling is this guy. But we have 3 ramp cards. And hopefully enough removal and so forth to get us here, and then it sort of catches you up when you get a Scry 3 and then gain a bunch of life. Both of these are hard cast also, but this kind of wins the game when it comes down, and this is a nice job of stabilizing the board. And then the right cycles. Point being, we're not running the same risk that we would in another deck with this much top end, because all of these cards can just cycle if we find ourselves in a spot where we just need to get some action, get on the board, and we're not in a position to make it the late game right away. We can cycle these guys away and look for some of our other answers. So, I don't know, that's my thought. I'm leaning, I think, 5-color ramp right now. Mostly it looks the funnest, but also I think it's the most powerful. So, give me your nuts and bolts spikes opinions. And let me know which of these you want to see. I'll see if I can find a way to export these deck lists and post them as well. And then you guys can let me know what you think. So, all right. Well, that's it for our first sealed pool deck building session. And yeah, I'll see you in the Facebook group, and then I'll see you back here for round 1.